Well, I'll get started, and if I have to repeat it, just let me know, because you're bad at computers. Hopefully, you're good at computers, Tim. Cool. Well, thanks for jumping into what is, it's not our first ever live stream, but I think this is our first ever stream on our Twitch channel. Something we want to make a far more regular occurrence. Just a few of the devs talking through things. It's going to be pretty casual. Expect mistakes, expect bugs, expect things to go wrong while we're streaming Broken Roads from within Unity here and running through a whole bunch of the improvements, fixes, features, new bits and pieces from the upcoming patch that, all going well, should be live in about a week or so from now. So I'm Craig Ritchie. I am the game director on Broken Roads. I'm joined by Annie May, who is our narrative designer, and Tim, our audio lead and composer. I thought I might just get straight into it, unless you two have something you want to throw out there first.
Oh, let's do it.
Let's go.
Right on. Cool. So yeah, what this really is for anyone who's watching, we've got a whole bunch of stuff that we said we would be improving. Not only bug fixes, but a lot of feedback, both from players on Steam, people who've reached out to us on Discord, or sent us mails about things that they liked or didn't like about the game, criticism and suggestions for improvements, and things that we were like, yep, we thought that would be good, but turns out nobody likes it that way, or oh wow, people really wanted this, and we thought that they might have a different expectation. So yeah, I'm gonna kick it off by creating a new character, a hired gun. We've done the majority of the changes we've done for this patch are for the origin stories, fleshing them out. There are a lot of bugs throughout the mid to late game that we've also addressed that you'll see, but our primary sort of narrative and feature focus was on opening up what a lot of people thought was a very linear kind of on-rails experience, especially in the early game. So I'll kind of breeze through character creation and then show off some of the, the new additions and so on. Cool. Any particular preference of a character for today? It's going to matter when we're on the overworld, don't forget.
True.
I always like the guy, like the Crocodile Dundee, like the necklace and the long hair.
This guy?
Yeah, that one, yeah.
Okay.
I love it.
We will call this guy...
I love his coat. It just feels like so Blade Runner-ish. It's
totally.
You know how good
so
it is in
cool.
this weather? How cold it's been in Australia recently? At least down Victoria.
Cold, WA nights.
Even in Queensland, it's cold right now.
Yeah.
We are also making some changes to how the your morality is defined at the very start. So that's going to be in the patch. I don't have the fixes, the latest changes from the devs right now. But we always wanted to have, when you make your first choice, it's currently set your moral compass. Then all of the other choices during character creation are variations on that. So, I've chosen the Machiavellian. I'm now going to choose, say, the humanist, and it moves it a little bit counterclockwise. We always wanted the other choices to be weighted so that the first one doesn't have as much effect. So we're redoing how the starting point is calculated. If you take mostly Machiavellian, it'll be mostly Machiavellian, then rotate it according to the other choices. So we'll be able to show that off soon, or you will just see it in a patch, but I don't have it. I don't have it able to be shown off right now. Let's kind of get through this because you've all seen this before. All right, let's just get into it. We're going to be doing some fighting, right? So I'm just going to get this shooting mastery up a little bit. Get some points of vigilance. There we go. Cool, then auto-assign the rest. Now, because I'm not streaming the audio, I'm just going to skip through a lot of the text that you've all seen before until we get to something new. Also can't show off all the new VO, but there is a fair amount. Like one of the piece of criticism we got was, hey, the VO is quite disjointed. You hear it and then you know there's suddenly no spoken lines, and then there's spoken lines and so on. So one of the things that we're doing is trying to find those important moments of those important conversations, and where we've missed VO. Anime has been kind of tagging certain lines to be recorded, and Tim has been working at getting those in. Cool. So some of the earlier stuff, anime, that I should just kind of get to, I suppose, would be the dingo combat, going around the fence. Anything else before I do that?
No, that sounds like a good start, really. I mean, there's
Get the job.
I believe a bit of feedback that we got was not a lot of early game combat. So we've been wanting to address that with different combats in the different prelude locations, such as Bally, which we are in right now.
Yeah.
But first, we're going to talk to Matt.
So she's going to give us the job of walking around the fence. And again, apologies for those of you that are viewing this for the first time. I'm trying to get through quite a bit, so it won't be slow enough for you to read everything. But here I'm just getting the job to walk around the fence. This is the tutorial section of the hired gun. Every origin story has its kind of easy, do this, click this button, read some tutorials, learn the basics. Yeah, so as Anime was saying, we did get a lot of feedback that people expected and wanted far more combat in the early game. So we've not only added more combat encounters, we've also got random encounters and so on, which we'll show off a little bit later. Some of the other feedback we got, which we didn't think we'd be addressing this quickly, but hey, Amos, our lead developer, worked some magic and added a fast mode. So some people were like, well, it takes a long time to walk along these, around these large maps. So we added a feature much like, Pillars of Eternity and Tyranny. I think there's a bunch of other games that just increases the game speed when you're walking from location to location. So that's this new icon at the bottom left here. And as you can see, we're walking considerably faster. You can turn it on and off with the F key. But this is like, if you know the locations you're walking, you've got to get to the other side of the map to speak to an NPC or complete a quest or whatever, and you're not really on the pleasure cruise of taking in the beautiful art and clearing the fog of war for the first time. We do have that fast mode, which turns on and off automatically as soon as you enter dialogue or into combat. See, I'm in dialogue now, and the animation speed and the walking speed and so on is all set to like its standard speed. Then when I finish this conversation, it's going to go back into fast mode because I had it in fast mode at the start of the conversation. All right, so let's get into one of the first battles. First little bits of combat that's been added. So it's early game. We're not trying to kill anyone in the very, very first encounter. We've added in these dingoes. I mean, Anime, do you want to talk about the spot on the right-hand side and how you've integrated this combat and the story with the hole in the fence? So it's not just a couple of dogs that are here, but it actually relates to existing content.
Yeah, sure. So we actually haven't spotted that part of the fence that this relates to. So once you take out the dingoes, or if you decide you'd like to run away, if a couple of dogs scare you,
I think I will, actually, because you've written some good and appropriate responses.
I think I'd be running away from a dingo too, to be honest.
Mate, I mean, we all heard the dingo stole my baby, so
yeah,
I'd rather not them steal my arm if I'm at it,
Oh yeah.
So I'm going to take a swipe at this one. But what I'm actually going to do is I am going to cower in shame. Because this is part of what we've done as well is we've allowed the pacifist, like more pacifist playthrough options where you can flee, but there are repercussions. You're a hired gun, you're a mercenary, you just joined the Scouts. Your job is to keep this place safe. But if you try and run away from combat, Mad steps in, she shoots the dogs, those dingoes, and then she basically tells you to harden the fuck up. Like, what are you actually doing here? You're meant to be a hired gun. And then Ella also basically says, like, no, what the hell? Like, you can't just run away from them. You can tell her that you didn't see the point in killing them. they're pests, so on. So now when we do have these moments where, let's inspect the fence, where we do have these moments where you decide to flee, like based on your origin story, based on the reputation you've got, and fleeing a lot of times will affect people's respect for you, and people will have different reactions to how much you flee combat as well. I'm just going to finish going through this.
By the way, just while you're doing that, Craigo, George84 says Broken Roads is the best CRPG of 2024. Can't wait for my second playthrough once the mid-May patch arrives. Any May, your writing is amazing. The Ripper is one of my favorite side quests.
There you go.
Thank you, George.
Thank you.
Appreciate it so much. I'm excited.
Awesome to hear.
I'm excited for you to see the new content then.
Yeah. Well, here's a sneak preview of some of it. So this has got some reactivity. This is what this is Anime, not Ella, was talking about minutes ago. What is it? She says the dingoes, and now because we've just killed the dingoes, Anime, do you want to explain this part?
Sure, yeah. Basically what we want to do here is the dingoes that were down there were the dingoes that were actually impacting the fence and actually digging in through it. So now that you've actually, Mad dealt with them for you because you're kind of useless,
right.
she will now actually appropriately respond and be like, at least they're dealt with now. I think what she actually says, I'm in Odyssey right now.
I think she says that they're feeding the birds now or something like that. But if you go clockwise around and you spot that before you've killed the dingoes, there's actually different text.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's just some of the small reactivity. You would have to play the game multiple times to spot it. But we put in all those little fine touches to the origin stories, and we're going to keep going through the game, adding to the middle chapters in the next patch and late game after that. Again, just kind of breezing through this, so we can move on to, I guess,
Matter and Stuff says, I hope I have a better luck with shooting accuracy in the early game with this added combat. I missed so many times in the first run, it was a bit comical.
Well, it's I think that there's been a lot of changes to the skills, the combat, balancing it, that kind of thing. Obviously, the shooting mastery skill, you should have at least a 25%. You can use Punt as well. I'll show that off when the next combat we get into. If you are having issues with your accuracy, we don't do any XCOM like 99% chance to hit and then force you to lose. We have seen a bunch of those moments, but there isn't anything under the hood that's making that happen. Cool. I'm just going to get through Dreamer so we can finish up this. I'm not going to do all the jobs, but I do want to show, while we're here, when we launched, we promised that you'd be able to pet the animals. You could pet the dog, the cat at launch. Here we have added in that there are far more animals that you can pet. I will change the, there you go, he liked that.
He liked it, yeah.
He likes it a lot. I will change the angle. There we go. He keeps running away. As much as he likes being pet.
Playing hard to get, yeah.
Stand still so we can give him that love. So we've got dogs, we've got cats, we've also got koalas, which I'll show later. All right, I'm just going to chat to Jonesy, and then we're going to finish up the quest. Cool. So we can move on. Cool. All right, so what were some of the next things? Because I'm going to breeze through this and use the console to get, cheat a little bit and skip through.
Not console commands, no.
So anyway,
I know that we do have, so we shut off fast mode. I guess we could get to the point where we start showing off the new Overworld accessibility that we're hoping to have. So you're actually finishing the game normally. I would have consoled by now or later Key Road. But yeah, I reckon that we should play through Key Road, and then obviously we'll go to Kokobi as usual, and then I'll point you at some new content that we've got going on in different locations.
Well, I'll just get through this as quickly as I can. let's talk to Claire and let's just make them. Oh,
Clicked on the POI. Yeah.
I clicked on the guy and walked through his body.
He was a solid 7
No.
until he died, but
Let's see. Okay. Right, Will, I know you're having a bad day. We're not going to give you the attention you deserve because we just want to show off the new content. And we're going to let our negotiator, Mishti, take the lead, diffuse the situation, remain silent. We're done. Let's go. And we got his gun, actually. Come on, Cole. We get
If anybody watching has any questions, by the way, just throw them out there. We'll get to them.
Cool. All right. So now we're through I'll call it the tutorial section of Hide Gun. Each of the origin stories has their own couple of stages before the world opens up. Kokobi, I've got a couple conversations left, and then you'll see probably the biggest change is what Anime was talking about a minute ago. One of the biggest changes to the origin stories, there we go, is that the Overworld map is now accessible, at least a limited version of it, during the origin stories. So here, previously, you would have had to complete Kokobi, you would have done all the quests and then gone on to Brookton and proceeded through the game that way. But now, here we go. We do have a smaller version. Obviously, you can't explore the entire game map. And there's the other new change is instead of the old triangle, you've got your character portrait is now on your map pin. So
looks so
we've
cool.
seen the skeleton pile before. Should I investigate anyway or keep traveling and try to get some of that new?
I think we try and get some of that new content.
Yeah.
Yes.
Show off the puntable flea and stuff like that as well.
Yes. Cool. Come on, somebody attack me.
Oh man, there's so many places for you to go
There's so
to.
much to explore.
Isn't that great?
So yeah, one of the big differences. There we go.
There we go.
So we're now. Well, I actually would rather fight. So I'm going to show that you can punt.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
We'll be back on the Overworld map again soon for, I think there's 2 spots we should show off some content for. So
cool. Yeah. So we added in this other feature. We did get some criticism about, and rightly so, there was no penalty to fleeing at launch. So, you could always flee. And part of that was those who want to have a pacifist playthrough, let's just allow them to skip combat. But it makes more sense to, have to enter combat, have a penalty if you try to flee and you now enter combat in the ambush state, which gives you, I think it's a -10, like a pretty significant initiative penalty, so that you'll generally act last in every combat turn if you fail to flee. But what we've done is you now have a percentage chance to flee based upon your party's agility and the agility of the attackers. And if you try to flee, you'll get a punt slider in the same way that you can use it to increase your accuracy in combat if you want to spend punt points to increase or guarantee successfully fleeing. But I think we should show off some of the new characters, these right bastards that have just attacked us. I'll cheat to win the combat if things are not going well, so we can keep exploring the new bits and pieces that we've opened up. All right. So this map is an entirely new map. We've happened to spawn into the combat of existing. It's not the new raiders. So I do want to fire that, try and get that combat at some point. But yeah, we've got new. That's blocked by cover. Let's get this guy standing out in the open. So we've got new maps. They've got more cover opportunities. They've got high and low cover. The enemies start in different places. And what you're seeing here is an all new. I don't think anyone's ever seen this before. This particular random encounter location. You'll spot this, and I think there's like 4 or 5 more. Some are interiors. There's a whole bunch of new places where combat can occur with far more things in the environment that players can hide behind, or companions or enemies can use for cover. I wonder if it's, worth showing off the combat or just skipping through this and getting on to older side or somewhere else anime.
I mean, it's really up to you if you want to like show off how like our new cover and everything. Otherwise, yeah, like because we do allow basically fleeing back to the overworld like we do for the rest of the game.
Okay. See if I can make it back. Yes, there we go. So I've fled. I'm now going to have to see if I can get Ella and Mishti out as well.
Alive.
Yes, alive, exactly. Things aren't going well. I'm going to use my developer god powers to get us out of here.
Time to use sprint.
In fact, I'm just going to kill all enemies.
Oh. Don't we all wish we had that button?
Now everyone knows the console command.
No, they all know we suck at our game.
All right, let's speed around and pick up some sweet loot. What have they got for us? Some bandages, some cash.
Ooh, got some good weapons to start with. You definitely earned those. Definitely.
Oh no, I definitely consoled my way to success. There, and a shotgun. Cool. All right. Let us return to the overworld. So what do you think? Head to older side and show off some of that new content and reactions there?
If you'd like, actually, want to start with Key Road.
Okay.
Because there is some reactivity now when you go back to Key Road as a hired gun. So I think you had Will and Claire, like they lived, yeah. The boy.
I try to give them the best outcome possible.
Aren't you a nice person?
Yeah.
I want to show them straight in the chest. No, I'm kidding.
Not kidding.
No, definitely not.
Cool. So, is this some of the new stuff?
Yeah. So this content, so like later in the game is when you would actually be able to obviously access this location again. So as you can see on the left, we have the grave of Greg, who was the father of Will and then the wife of Claire. The camel cart's gone, the blood's dried up from the ground, and they've moved on. So depending on your actions here, Dreamer and Ella will respond accordingly about the situation and the outcome of it. There could be one grave or there could be more. So it really is up to it's drawing that player for coming back here and seeing how things have changed once the overworld opens up and reminding them of their actions too.
Yeah.
So
the camel cart could still be here, or their cart would still be here depending on certain actions.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
And some more graves.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
If you play it the way you play the game.
Yeah. I like how in our pre-launch thing, I was like, I'm a humanist. I would never do any of this. And now I'm like, I would kill everyone. Like what do you mean? No questions asked. But yeah, now we can go to LSI. It's just a nice little
Absolutely.
A lot of feedback we got as well was not a lot of instant reactivity. So I really wanted to ensure that players of the different origins go, oh hey, I was there and that happened, and my party member is reacting to it, or the scene has changed to reflect what I've done, which I think is really important as well with our environmental storytelling.
Yeah.
But yeah, on to Elder Side. So I'm going to keep talking, but obviously originally Elder Side was only accessible to surveyors. If anyone in the chat or in our Discord has played the surveyor origin, but it's now accessible to every origin, and every origin can now also do the side quests that are in this location. So we'll show off one now. We're speaking to Charlie Evans. And then the other would be with Nathaniel Black.
Before we get to Charlie, I just want to point out that the event still happened.
Yes, the timelines flow with each other. So a fun part Craig and I had of was going, okay, what's happened by the time this origin gets the overworld, which has been a fun task to do. And a few times I've been like, wait, don't we need this? And then Craig's like, no, they'd be here. And I'm like, oh, fantastic. One less hoop to jump through. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun nailing down a proper timeline as well.
Cool. I just clicked on a POI that gave me the 25 XP that I needed to level up. We've also got the character. I don't believe that your companions had auto assign at launch. I can't remember if we hotfixed that in or not. So for some people, they may be seeing this for the first time. That you can manually level up, because this was one of the criticisms we got that we tried to address straight away. hey, it's a party-based RPG, let me manually level up my companions. We originally took the old Fallout route where your companions have their own level up path and it's all predetermined what their attributes and skills are. That still occurs if you push auto assign, but if you wanted to, no, I would rather have Mishti, far better with grenades. I'm going to pour all her points into like throwing. You can do that as well, all right, so yeah, I was basically showing off that here is where the origin story for the Surveyor has a unique encounter. You can see the trails and remnants of the blood over there.
You should ask Franklin about that. You should ask Ames about that. Wonder why, huh? Wonder what the narrative designer wants with this.
So talk about this here, because this is all unique. This didn't exist a while ago.
Yeah, so obviously as part of the allowing other origins to access different locations is we've tried to narrow down in each location what characters would actually respond to which origin. So Franklin Ames, he's like the leader of the town. He has already seen some scouts today with Jake and Jonesy and the Surveyor origin. So he's already quite on edge. And the player can now, be a bit rude, a bit harsh, mate. Yeah, and like ask, now that you've seen that blood outside the front, can now ask about what happened and stuff like that, and get a bit of an interlude into Charlie Evans, who was up on the outpost. So we've tried to like add new content to these people, but also add more companion reactivity depending on what the player chooses. So as you saw, Dreamer and Ella were like, do you have to speak to Franklin like that? It's your first day. Like, can you not? So trying to be a lot more realistic in our...
pretty rude, exactly, intentionally. Ella's just shouted at me, told me off. And now Dreamer is apologizing for me. So this here is, again, one of the most requested things that people had. And again, rightly so. They just felt there should be far more companion interjections. Let's develop who these people are that are accompanying you in your journey far more. And this is, depending on what you say, there are totally different reactions and responses from all of your different companions, because you can come here as a Jackaroo as well, and as a Barter crew, and Jess would accompany you and she would have something different to say, for example. Cool. Where was that question? There we go. I saw some fresh blood. So this is entirely new as well. Anime?
Yep.
Cool. So he's now explaining what occurred in the Surveyor origin story. I'm going to skip this because some of the more interesting stuff that you've created, Anime, and where we have the chance for bugs.
Let's hope all my work is perfect. What do you mean?
This first demo live stream actually plays out as we want. So cool.
I got to do his animations, I got to do the animations for this conversation, which is good.
Cool. So what approach do you want to take? Hard, soft, rude?
I think we can stay with what you did with Franklin, be a bit of a hard ass, be a bit,
Unnecessarily rude or just hard?
Just hard, I think.
Cool. So basically saying like, hey, you need to toughen up, you're on guard duty. Yes, you may have shot someone, but harden up, man, So this entire conversation is completely new.
Yes, and this is the unique one that everyone but Surveyor will see. For Surveyors, there was that launch conversation, but obviously the other origins get something a little bit different now that time has passed a little bit since the shooting in the morning.
Oh, and by the way, there's a goat.
Yes, that's right.
We've
that's
added
right.
So I'm glad we got to see one briefly.
Yeah.
All right. She's going to ask him what happened. Charlie explains the story. And again, depending on which origin story you've got, you would have a different companion here. And depending not only on your origin, but also how you treat Charlie, there will be different outcomes here, So how would you like to handle this? Should we try
Yeah, let's do the hired gun specific one. So yeah, we could replace you.
So Ella's not a big fan. What I'm trying to do is say, hey, Charlie basically wants some help. He's feeling really bad. He wants to talk to his mum or to the Reverend about the bad day he's got where he accidentally killed someone. So I just said, hey, like maybe I'll just, we hired guns, we could stand guard for you while you go and talk, rather than we run around town and have your conversations on your behalf. So Ella's basically said, like, what are you doing? And Mishti is like, oh, we're helping people is what we do, and here's a whole range of new options. I don't know which one you want me to go with, Anime.
Well, would you like to actually stay in the watchtower?
I think it would be cool to show off. This is entirely new content.
Yeah. I would pick option 3 then.
Okay. Yeah. Hard.
So everyone write this down for your guides on how to speedrun this new section.
All right. So she's letting him go. So here's a new thing, by the way, because not only is Ella saying this because we've now offered to let Charlie do it, I think she's going to give me additional. Yep, there we go. So this is an additional node that takes into account not only like you taking time out of your day to help some kid who made a bad mistake, but she's also saying, well, look, it's your first day. You didn't even take care of the dingoes we had to cover for you. This would be, totally different or not even seen had you not fled the dingo encounter, for example. So she's saying she's reminding you, like, hey, if you want to have a pacifist playthrough, why the hell did you choose a hired gun? This is one of the old ones. I don't know if we've got new in the origin story. Yeah,
we've got some new cyclopedia entries. I know, for example, one that people pointed out was when Dreamer calls Ella a cabri, like you cabri.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
So we can manually fire those later if we want to show off some of the definitions.
Cool. Yeah, it'd be cool. We got what, like 10, 12 new definitions?
Yeah, quite a few. A lot of them was catching things in the prelude, and then we're hoping as we go along with our future patches to catch more in those later chapters as well, and also use them more frequently as well, those words that we've got in the cyclopedia.
Cool. So I'm going to get through this. I'm going to tell Charlie that he needs to be okay with the fact that, like, he's got to be prepared. Everyone makes mistakes, but if he's going to be in this line of work, those mistakes can sometimes end up with somebody dead. Telling him to take some responsibility, harden the fuck up, basically. Mad should have a conversation with Charlie about how to handle himself when he's on watch. Cool. And then his foul mom, one of the worst characters in the game. So I'm just going to keep breezing through this so that people can actually play it and enjoy it.
That's all good. A really cool thing as well that we've done, which was feedback that I got from Craig when originally writing this, was to allow players to say multiple of the options in the flow when you're talking about what Charlie's experience with the Reverend and his mum. So that at least allows players to have a bit more of a varied conversation in that way and hear a bit more from not only Charlie but Ella and Dreamer about their perspectives on what you think. And then, he's back up there. So depending on those options that you select, that can affect how Charlie is in later chapters of the game as well.
Cool. All right, let's talk to his horrible mum. Did you make any changes here?
No. So the main changes were in Charlie, Franklin Ames, and then we are going to have as well, I don't know if anyone would have met them, probably, maybe some people in the chat, Sue and Norm. Usually they're only chapter 3 onwards characters, but they will now be showing up in the prelude. So I think, they're actually there. Yeah.
Norm. I don't remember where Sue, there she is.
Sue's just down there, yeah.
Quickly say hello to Norm.
And they will have unique dialogue depending on your origin as well.
Mm-hmm. Hello, Norm.
And
when do we learn his name? There we go. So she said Norm, so it's going to change. It should change from Strange to Norman. Yep. There we go. So again, more unique dialogue, more like the world should just feel bigger and more alive and more connected through the origin stories. We've gone to older side, but you saw I'll go back to the overworld map in a second. You can go back to Bally Bally. You can go to Brookton much earlier than before. Cole will just keep waiting, chatting to his buddy Rusty about machine parts. So, right.
And this is also a link in to the Jackaroo origin. This is basically what he's discussing right now.
Cool. Did you want to show off anything with Sue and then we get going?
Yeah, Sue's got a unique intro, and then then we can head off to I wonder if we should continue to the pub maybe, or like that kind of point.
Well, you mean like proceed through the story?
Yeah, unless you want to.
No,
What are the
let's do
other? So I'm trying to think off the top of my head. You can go back and see Mad and Bally Bally, if we'd like as well. Sorry, I'm thinking as
Let me see if I can trigger the new combat with new characters.
Yeah, go ahead. That sounds good. Yep.
If I can't, then because I don't have it in front of me, I could cheat console. Let me see if I can get that in there.
We love a simple way to test things.
I think this is them. I hope this is them.
We'll have a look.
Because they're completely new models, new portraits, new characters, new abilities, or at least new stats and that kind of thing.
I love the new maps.
And if this
cool.
isn't them, then we will just simply have to wait for players to figure it out themselves. No, this is also the old ones. I'll have to get out of here. All right.
But hey, aren't the new maps pretty, guys?
Hey, sorry.
Aren't the new maps pretty though? They're so popular.
Oh,
I love the population of the cars and the buildings and everything. The art team have done really well.
All right. So we've seen 1 and 2. And if it's not this, it should be 3. I'm just trying to get those new enemies. And if we can't, I'll just move on and we'll share some screenshots later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is the same one as before.
I wonder if the models might need to be switched over, maybe.
I believe they're in.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think I fired encounters 1 and 2, and I think I'll give 3 a try. And if 3 is not the one, then we'll just move on. No, it's not. It's not coming together. All right. Let us finish up the Kokobi content so that we move on to the pub. For this, do I have to? I could just pay Ian Mason to go, right? The fastest way.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you can pay him. Mm-hmm.
I could always just console my way through, you know.
If you want flow fragments, I have them in abundance.
We'll just
Tina.
Speed our way through. Hello, yes. Tell me about your pest problem. I will sort it out as quickly as I can using fast mode. Whee.
Yeah, it's so good. Oh my god.
There we go. All right, time for you to go away. Tina wants you to move. $100. Done. Okay, good. It's nice and easy. And I had that money to hand because I went and did random encounters and I sold off the clubs and whatever to whatever Charlie's mom's name is. I can't remember right now. Louise, there we go. All right. Shake her hand. When is Mick arriving? Well, now actually. Okay. Let's go. Definitely not playing it as intended.
Look at Mick fast walk.
Just clicking through.
Old bugger.
All right, let's go. Brookton. I didn't save Sid this time, but those of you who are interested in Sid, we've really reworked how that encounter that comes up during Brookton Under Attack, which you will, those of you that have played the game will be familiar with. There's multiple ways to leave Brookton when it's under attack, and one of them is via the ambulance. And if Sid is there, you actually have to choose quite a specific path of options and actions to save Sid. We've now made it clearer because people did say, hey, this game kind of surprises us. We think we're making choices, but we don't understand the significance of them. So we sort of telegraphed that and now have things that like will add to the text in brackets after the options. Hey, this is what you're doing. And we will have the narrator pop up and say, like, are you sure you want to do this? There are some consequences. Do you want to go back and change your mind? Or, you know, you haven't wrapped up everything here. Do you want to keep exploring before you move on because you can't come back here? So we kind of left that stuff out originally. We didn't want to say ruin immersion or break the fourth wall or anything like that. But it's just clear that was the wrong decision the first time around, because players do want to know, hey, I'm about to make a significant choice that I can't come back from unless I do a reload. So now we just telegraph that a whole lot more. All right, I'm going to skip through this as well. So what's the quickest way through here? Should I just talk to a few people and move on?
Yeah, talk to a few
Brookton?
people, and we'll be able to see one of the new cyclopedia entries as well,
Okay.
which is the Cadbury one.
Okay, so that's.
Oh, come on, you console, talk to Sean. Like, you know, at this point, I'm like console key, talk to Sean.
Oh yeah, no, I'm gonna do this and get thank you.
And then Alana's usually
I've met you, and then our Alana's over here. All right, Alana, let's talk. Oh, and that was another thing that people requested, and we definitely missed a few of them. There's only a few conversations and moments in the game where you actually need all the party to be standing exactly the right place at the start of the conversation. So we've added a thing to remove. You know, we did this before. Hey, goat. We did this. Goat alert. We did this before launch, but we missed a few. But we've now been far more meticulous about going through the game and making sure that the party doesn't all have to be together when you initiate a conversation. So it's just like smoother and faster that way. So now we're meeting Alana, who's Jess's mum, and we've triggered Ella, who's had enough. And here we go. People didn't know what Cadbury was. I didn't know what Cadbury was. So I hope it's large enough to read. But basically, from the old Cadbury's chocolate ads, you know, a glass and a half is all it takes for Ella and the Cadbury to get drunk quite easily. Cool. Let us fast mode our way through to talking to Mick. Yeah, man. Everyone's on a rush. Hustle and bustle. There we go. That was a lot faster. See, there's these examples. Here is basically a point of no return. We've added these in. You will see this pop up a whole lot more. In this instance, yes, we do want to move on so we can show you some more of the stuff. And along comes this stranger who's definitely got a where his gun is aligned to his hip. So we're gonna have to get that sorted. All right, come on, James. Let's breeze through this.
They're all reliable. Remain silent.
Let everyone else do the talking for me. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll see you in the pub. One of my favorite lines. Catch you later. Let's skip past old Bruce Harris this time. Oh.
Very excited to get more Mick VO.
Yeah.
It's going to be good.
Yeah. Yep, I'll be doing noting down pickups, and we'll be aiming to do the same thing where there won't be one line voice, one line not voice, one line voice. So that'll be one of my first tasks for the rest of this week. Now that the writing is
it's funny because in hindsight it's like, oh, of course that's a great way to do it, but oh well, we're all learning, we're all figuring things out.
So here, by the way, I don't have I'm not even puntable to be able to slip away because I'm not interested in this like squabble about whether or not Mishti should be having drink. However, I did invest in the very important drunken master skill, and I got an auto success, and so I get better at you know, like getting your eye in at a game of pool. My aim improves after a pot or two. Ella is mothering Mishti a little bit too much for our liking. But she and her little crush on Jonesy, and Jonesy's going to buy her a drink, so whatever. Let's go. Ella's out of here. I'll see you later. All right, off to the pub. Yes, I am coming, but I have important work to do first. Critical.
I would love for a future patch, and this is something I just thought of now, is you know how we have the icons that signify what different things are? We should have a paw icon, and then that's for the animals.
I think you should.
Because we do now actually, we didn't get to show it off, but we do have the sound icon because Tim's got some there's some
and so forth.
yeah, there's clickables in the game. Like for example, the little guitars and the is it cigarette box?
Cigar box guitar, yeah.
Cigar.
Yep.
I knew it was like cigarette. Yeah, so cigar box guitars, and when you click on them or when you hover over them, instead of the magnifying glass icon, you now have the sound icon. So, oh wow, a lot to look at and hear.
It sure is. And what some people don't know is some of these can actually trigger quest flags. So this talks about a batting average for the Don Bradman. You can find the same information elsewhere in the game, but if you happen to click on that, it allows you to identify, to easily get through something, or a little easier later on in the game. All right, I am going to quickly get through this.
Yeah, let's.
What is the new one with regards to running away?
So you will see the dingo fled dialogue. So there are some set prelude combats. So like for example, for Barter Crew, there's like Orkney Heights when you go and collect the helmet, or in Jackaroo when you're on the farm. Yeah, so now Mick will actually respond to those along with responding to if you're a hired gun, which you get the most harshest criticism for. Because again, like Craig said, you want a pacifist run, but you know, you're a hired gun.
Your job is to shoot things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this whole exchange, there's even more nodes, and he kind of drills in that like you are being assessed. You know, this is true within the world, but it also kind of at a different level points to the fact that there's reputation and like and dislike and respect and so on being tracked under the hood. And some people might like what you do and others really might dislike what you do. So he's basically saying your new and eyes are on you. So that's just a reminder. Cool. I'm going to get through this so we can get to some of the new content. Yes, carry on. You're not wrong. All right, Sean, the town is under attack. End of June 2023 demo spoilers coming up. Cool. So this whole thing is new. I don't know, Anime, if you want to chat through this as soon as the scene loads.
Sure, yeah.
Hopefully we can get through it bug-free.
Some people might be standing around a bit weird, but otherwise I think we can. I don't know, what do we specifically do? Want to show off that Sid stuff? Oh, we didn't save Sid.
No, I'm not going to save Sid,
That's
but
fine.
It's more like getting into the combat, getting out of the combat. All right.
So as you can see, we're aiming to have the stakes feel a lot higher. That was a big bit of feedback that we got back for the early game was it feels like you kind of just run around even though the whole town's on fire. Here's some of our that is a new Cyclopedia entry. Yeah, and now basically Sean and Mick I guess act as like guides as to what you can do, but also up the stakes on, hey, like people are in danger. I'm going out, like, you know, but Mick obviously, as you can see here, wants to take a few with him before he, you know, flees himself.
and considering the admonishment I've got for not taking part in combat, I don't want to say, I don't want to get shouted at again just yet, so I will join them in this battle. Now, previously, this whole area was completely inaccessible, but what we're in is combat that very quickly becomes clear that it is unwinnable. More and more, see, Mishti is down in the very first round. You're not meant to be able to win this battle, but at least you can see what's going on, and people will react accordingly. Like they will tell you, hey, listen, you know, you're not going to be able to do much good here. I think I'm going to try and take a shot of someone anyway, if I can get within range of.
You've got Buckley's, mate, as they would
I
say.
do have Buckley.
A new Cyclopedia entry we have as well.
So what I'm going to do is set up vigilance. There we go.
Nice.
And now reinforcements come.
And this is a
I
really cool
know.
feature that Amos got in and working as well, because we also have, I think, in some random encounters now, like positionals when combat first starts, and they run in, or like more come in as you fight.
Yeah. So as you can see, like Mick is not trying to be a hero, and he's saying like, this is impossible. Let's get the survivors out, and I'll meet with you at Burly Hall. So he bails, and we've got another round of combat, and hopefully I don't get killed before then, because yeah, Mick is right. Look at
Oh
the
god.
tragedy befalling us. I'm getting out of here.
Oh, you're so lucky Jacob's alive still.
I mean, look at this.
You're
This
so
is,
lucky
this
they
is,
were focusing him.
okay, cool. All right. So he's already left. Whoop.
That we will fix.
Yeah. Cool. I'm just going to.
Your journal will also have, I believe, new objectives as well. As you can see, the first two. There's also new journals. Basically, also really making it clear to the player as well that you can only help one, like one group of people. And as you will soon see, there's even options to just say, just get out of here. Like, I'm going to go with this other group.
So that's what I'm going to do here, and I'm going to try and get to the point. Let me get this. Try and get to the point where it indicates the point of no return again. You know. All right. Should we do it, or should we wait?
Well, we can completely skip.
Yeah. Let's do
Alana,
it.
yeah.
Cool. Right, I'm going to skip through this as well. Well, that's a pretty good run through of some of the early game content just for the hired gun. And we did speed through it. We didn't go to Orkney Heights, Valley Hall, Taylor's Farm. There's a bunch of stuff we didn't go to that does exist, but maybe we should skip ahead at this point. I can, either load an old save or.
Yeah. Did you want to maybe look at the some gut wound Mick stuff?
Yeah, I think that'd be good. Let me good old cheat console it up.
Yeah, sure. I prepared this one earlier. I provided some variables you need to set in our chat as well, Craig.
Yeah, I'm copying that. I wonder why this is not.
It might just use numbers. Chapter state dot current chapter you need to write.
Current.
Yeah.
Do I need to go current? That's it.
Yep, beautiful. And then you can put the number or chapter 2.
I left out the current chapter.
Beautiful. And for those who have been watching, I hope you've been enjoying seeing all the new stuff. I believe we're going to have this up. Was it on our YouTube or?
Yeah, we'll put it up on the YouTube. It'll stay on the Twitch as well, because the Twitch will save our VODs, but we'll also chuck it up on the YouTube for sure.
Yeah, you can like pause and go, what's this new text? Okay, cool. Unpause.
Yeah. I could always edit it to blur these out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to go to Meriden now. This will be broken, but who cares? At least we can prove the
proof of concept.
Prove the new content is there. More warnings. There is this is major spoilers if we go into it, but the significance of revealing Mick's name to some of the characters in Meriden is obviously
don't worry, he's meant to do this.
Pretty damn significant.
Do you want me to give you a trigger for the dialogue?
I think it's still chapter 2.
Yes.
I need to set it to.
No, I think you're missing arrived in Meriden or entered Meriden. Let me. This is what happens when you don't play the game as intended. I can just give you the flow.
Yeah, I think that would.
Here, I'll just send this to you. If you just fire that should do.
I'm just going to get this done so that this completes entering Meriden.
Sure. Oh, yeah, beautiful. Then that will fix that. That'll fix what I just. You won't have to fire that node that I just sent.
Hopefully this works now.
Yeah.
So, in part of this, those who are paying attention, you saw I ran past Dead Ringer. He is the raider that's in the cage next to the ambulance. I just wanted to speed it up. But he does reveal to you that Mick in a past life had the nickname, the Notorious, when he was a raider or a bandit or whatever, however bad we want him to have been, he was known as Gut Wound. So cool. And now he thanks you for your help in getting in. Sounds like a plan. There we go. So Annie Mae, you can take this section away because this is more your content.
Sure, yeah. So as Craig mentioned, we did get quite a bit of feedback, especially for the later chapters, of some confusion as to why speaking to specific people in Meriden led to Mick no longer being around for some reason. And so we're basically now trying to add more information and more opportunities for the player, more overt like statements of, hey, if you do this, Mick will no longer be a convoy member, and there may be some conversations you'll be having with the convoy. But yeah, so we just saw Mick give a warning, and now we're going to go into Hunters and Collectors and have a look at the job board that Hunter manages, that has all like these bounties and stuff like that. As George mentioned earlier in the chat, the Ripper is a poster on that board as well. But yeah, it basically just holds a bunch of like quest content, but also acts as like flavor for the criminals of the world, of this messed up world. So
I love the Hunters and Collectors. It's such a cool little...
I love the room. I love
great.
it. I would love to go into this building in real life and have it look like this. I'm like trying to figure out who I cosplay as at PAX.
All right, let's have a look at the job board. There we go. So this is entirely new as well, right? This wasn't...
Yes.
Cool.
Yep. So this is new. We are aiming as well to flesh this out even further in the future. Not for this patch, to actually be able to speak to Mick about this and be like, so you're pretty popular, eh? But yeah, it's another indicator of his history and how it has impacted other people. You can also speak to Hunter as well after you've seen it.
Yep. So bad reputation.
Yeah, he killed a lot of people and
pretty tough guy.
Stole a lot from people. Would catch them on their roads to different towns, take them for all they've got. And there's another encyclopedia entry. So proud. Yeah, and this is where you can also learn about Riley's Rippers as well. So a lot of bad people in this world.
Yes, there's a bunch of dodgy people. The post-apocalyptic outback has driven people to not hold the same values as they might have today. Cool. I mean, look, there were some other things. I want to see if we can't show them off, we can at least discuss them. But I think we've kind of gotten through most of that. And it is actually on the hour. Was there anything else that you wanted to show off, like different locations or different dialogue or newer features? I mean, here's one thing I almost forgot to show. People did want to be able to rebind their controls, so that's a feature that we've got now as well. The keyboard, like, I think there's some things that are going to be reserved that you just won't be able to, such as closing things, opening things, quick save, quick load. But the rest do allow you to actually change the keys to something that suits you better. You know, some people preferred S to open the character sheet rather than moving the camera, so you could reset that if you wanted to. We've also changed the flee, as I showed earlier, that allows the punt. If you just are not interested in combat whatsoever and always want to flee, you can reset it to how it was when we launched. You can always run away from combat if you just want to skip that completely. And then again, as we've shown, this isn't new, but while we're here, let's have a quick show of it. You can customize the UI and what information is presented to you as much as you want. Like if you're the kind of player who likes to know every unavailable skill check, moral option, everything, so you're like, oh, cool, if I changed a character, had a different build, maybe replayed it, I get to see that different content. We allow you to see that. Or you can hide it completely. We also had feedback about, I don't want to see the skill check numbers. Hide those from me. I either want to succeed or not. Some people prefer just a category, hard, easy, that kind of thing. Other people want the specific number. So that is now also up to you as well. I prefer personally to play without the quest HUD, but that is still there at the top right, if that's your preference. So yeah, we do allow people to kind of set this up however they want to.
It's been a real mixed bag of like preferences, and it's been really interesting to see. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you make certain assumptions as a game developer of what people want, and those are obviously influenced by personal preferences and game playing history and so on. And then you walk a rope between quality of life improvements that players expect and well, if we totally hide all of the moral options always, we're not really showing off this feature that we've kind of been talking about, the moral compass, for example. So yeah, it has been interesting, running polls and seeing, oh gee, 60% of people actually do want to see the numbers, but 30% want it hidden. Just see the categories. It's like, okay, we're not going to remove it. We're just going to do the additional little extra to allow players to choose how they want it themselves. So the game does start with a default, which is how we intend or what we think makes for the best player experience. And you can change these, from before you've even created your first character, or you get into the game, you don't like how the layout is, or you don't like how the UX feels. You can adjust all of that yourself. Cool. Well, this is getting to the end of the first, the major changes. There are bugs later. There is things in other locations throughout the game. We've fixed certain issues. We've added little bits of text here and there. We've clarified certain pacifist options. But the key narrative focus of this patch now is to really open up the early game, really expand upon those companions, develop them. Like we have only shown you Ella and Mishti here, but the same applies for Jess and Sean in the other origin stories as well. There are a lot more interactions. Oh, and Jake and Jonesy for the Surveyor, of course. I think we should probably wrap it up now and have more to show. Hopefully there'll be a hotfix soon. We won't wait as long for another big major patch before we have another stream like this. And yeah, Tim, hopefully we do, we are able to do these far more regularly, every couple of weeks or something,
Absolutely. If people are keen, we can do it as much as we can, really. Oh, there goes my.
So I've screwed up your nice layout.
Screwed up. Ladies and gentlemen, I spent all this time setting up this beautiful overlay, and Craig has just destroyed it.
I have been eliminated.
Successfully ruining everyone's day in the last few minutes. But yeah, look, we'll wrap this up. We will put it on YouTube. We'll also loop it on Steam for those who are interested in the changes that we've made. Really, obviously, hoping that this satisfies players who've been a bit disappointed by, this feature didn't exist, or this didn't occur as I was expecting, or this was far too linear or on rails. We've changed it up completely. I really felt the companions would have said this here, or I'd like to see them more developed. We've really been paying attention to what you've been saying in your Steam reviews, the criticism from the press and media reviews and the comments and stuff. And thank you to everyone who's either reached out privately on Discord or even sent us emails. We have taken that on board, and some people have asked, "Oh, are you abandoning Broken Roads? Are you done with it?" Like, by absolutely no means are we done with this. It's pretty clear that more work has to be done to satisfy player expectations, and we're going to keep doing that. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. We will try and do these every couple of weeks. We might not have as much detail the next time, but I will I'll be sure that no matter how good Tim's layout is, I'll be sure to wreck it on the next ones as well.
Before we go, Swagdorf, great name, says, thanks guys, loving the changes and can't wait to play the new patch. Thanks, Swagdorf. Cheers.
Thank you.
Well, it's basically all done. We are just waiting on the last bits of translations to come through. I want to speak to our publisher to see if we can set up a beta channel that is opt-in for the latest English-only version. That's not something I've discussed with them yet, but it came to mind, hey, if everything's done and the bugs are addressed and we're now just waiting for the content to go live because we're waiting on the translations, which is, fair enough because we've got 6 other languages or 7 other languages that people have paid for the game and expected to be translated. Maybe we can set up a beta channel that is known to the public, that is the English-only version, which is always the latest, so you're kind of playing like a preview version. Watch them say no after I've publicly said this on a stream and again ruin everyone's day, but I think it's a pretty reasonable ask. So hey, we'll update about that once we've heard from our publisher.
One last thing, Fast XSL says, last played the beta. The changes look good. I'll give it another try. Greetings from Germany. Dankeschön.
Awesome. Yeah.
Great.
Cool. Thanks very much, everyone. We'll catch you again soon.
Thanks,
Bye,
everyone.
Cheers.